CTV News with Sarah Freemark.
We are 5 months into a state of emergency, and the city of Barrie wants to know, how do you think it's dealing with the crisis? Thanks for joining us. How is Barrie handling homelessness as a whole? What about how is the city handling crime and budgets? Council wanted to hear from you and commissioned a poll to get your feedback. CTV's Luke Samar joins us live tonight from Barrie City Hall to break it all down. Luke.
Well, Sarah, the city commissioned that poll in December and surveyed 1,000 residents, asking them a series of 5 questions, including how they felt the city has dealt with this encampment crisis, as well as the vision for the city. This as Barrie remains under a state of emergency.
To be implemented, the city of Barrie is immediately instituting the state of emergency to reclaim our streets, our boulevards, our parks, our squares, our feeling of safety, and our order.
It has been more than 5 months since Barrie Mayor Alex Nuttall made that declaration. But how has the city handled it thus far? 73% of those surveyed strongly support the investments made in addressing homelessness. 80% are in support of the city's approach to removing encampments as long as people have been offered shelter and support.
When we're providing those services for individuals, when we're removing tents, and we actually have the supportive services like rehab and all of these things in place and ready to go.
Since then, city staff say 79 encampments have been addressed and cleared in Barrie, and now only 2 encampments remain. Another question in the poll addressed the county of Simcoe and if they should be doing more to address homelessness, addiction, and mental health. 90% in favor.
They want more done more quickly with better results. And, I certainly share that. At the same time, they are, I believe, all hands on deck to move this forward.
The county says the poll showed them many things about the public's perception, but also clarifying that while the county is responsible for the homeless mandate, they are not responsible for mental health and addiction services.
That's a provincial health service. So I think maybe making sure that clarification is made, while maybe the public feels like there needs to be more done on mental health and addiction. I agree. I think homelessness is a health crisis.
The county adding it's important for all government and agencies to be involved in the solution.
I think homelessness is not just a federal or provincial or municipal problem. It's a community problem, so it needs community solutions. So I think partnering with organizations that are trying to contribute to the solutions is a good active way to get involved.
The survey also asking residents how they felt the city managed police and reducing crime. 76% in favor of how council has supported Barrie Police and the efforts to reduce crime throughout the city. The public was also asked if the city's budget balances community services with keeping tax increases low. Here's what the mayor had to say about that.
So when you look at our AAA credit rating this year, I think that everybody can agree that the city of Barrie is being managed extremely well in terms of our finances. We can always do better. We can always do more, and that work is continuing each and every day.
Again, 1,000 people were asked to be in this survey, and city staff have indicated that there will be no additional surveys for the remainder of this session of council. Reporting in Barrie at City Hall, I'm Luke Samar. Sarah, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks for that, Luke. We now know that 3 teens are facing a slew of charges in connection to that armed robbery investigation at Maple Ridge Secondary School. The Barrie Police Tactical Unit responded to the incident around 9:30 a.m. on Monday, which prompted the school to go into a lockdown. Police say a handgun was seized and 3 teens aged 15, 16, and 17 were arrested on the property. 2 of the teens face multiple charges, including robbery using a firearm, pointing a firearm, and careless use of a firearm. The 3rd teen faces 2 weapon-related charges. The 15-year-old was denied bail, while the other teens have been released to sureties under strict conditions. No injuries were reported. 3 other teens have been charged in connection to an arson in Lefroy last November. Emergency crews responded to a former fire hall on Holland Street near Killarney Beach Road on November 22nd. That fire caused significant damage, and an explosion was then heard near the Morgan Russell Memorial Arena. That was traced to the skate park, where a 25-liter gas can and fireworks were recovered, and parts of the skate park were damaged. Today, 3 teens aged 15 and 16 were charged with break-and-enter, arson, and mischief under $5,000. A Barrie man accused of trafficking a teen in the sex trade has pleaded guilty to earlier charges. CTV's Mike Arcelides reports on the case, and the woman also charged by Barrie police following a year-long human trafficking investigation.
33-year-old Marquise Clark remains in jail tonight, accused of trafficking a teenage girl in the sex trade, along with this woman, Lepeka Kienga, who was granted bail in November. Clark pleaded guilty Monday afternoon in a Barrie courtroom to obstructing a police officer and failing to comply with a release order when he gave an officer a fake name during a traffic stop in Barrie last February. The court heard Clark was supposed to be under curfew at the time while out on bail to a surety. He was barred from having more than one SIM card on him. He was found with an iPhone and a flip phone. Both Clark and Kienga were arrested in October of 2025. Clark picked up in North Bay following a nearly year-long investigation by the Barrie Police Human Trafficking Unit. Police said Clark, who was allegedly in possession of a loaded gun at the time of his arrest, is facing more than a dozen charges that include weapons counts, sex trafficking a person under the age of 18, assault with a weapon, uttering death threats, along with possession of cocaine and fentanyl. Investigators said it's believed there may be more victims of the accused and encourage anyone with information in the case to come forward. Kienga, who is originally from Hawaii, was granted bail to sureties who pledged $5,000 to get her out of jail. Clark, according to court records obtained by CTV News, has outstanding criminal charges in Newmarket from March of 2022, facing allegations of assault. Back in 2012, Clark was accused of attempted murder following a double shooting at a plaza in Mississauga that sent 2 men to hospital. Clark was 19 at the time. Those charges were withdrawn. Clark is scheduled to make his next appearance tomorrow, Kienga in 3 weeks. The allegations against the accused have not been tested in court. Mike Arcelides, CTV News, Barrie.
An intersection just off of Highway 400 in Barrie was shut down this morning after a multi-vehicle collision. It happened just after 5 a.m. at Dunlop Street West and Cedar Point Drive. The crash forced the closure of the ramps to the 400. Police tell CTV News there were multiple injuries reported, but the extent still unclear. The highway reopened just after noon hour. No one was injured after a 2-vehicle crash in Barrie's north end. This involved a school bus. It happened around 4 p.m. on Cundles Road East. Barrie police say the bus was rear-ended. There were students on board at the time, but another bus was brought in to transport them. Cundles Road was briefly closed for the investigation. No word on any charges. Now, people taking the GO train to Toronto today face some delays as crews continue to deal with that derailed train at Union Station. We spoke about this yesterday. It derailed and was removed from the tracks, but service is still not back to normal. Metrolink says the train made contact with a track switch while traveling at a low speed. This caused widespread delays yesterday and continues to impact some GO train lines today. Simcoe County boasts some of the best year-round fishing, but there's something special about the winter. We're known as having one of Canada's most active ice fishing seasons, and as CTV's Rob Cooper tells us, we've reeled in top honors once again.
Oh, I had him, guys.
Not so fast, Mike Barkley.
But that's fishing. That's why they call it fishing.
Barkley and his friend Ethan Archer represent a continuing trend of people flocking to Lake Simcoe and Georgian Bay for fishing.
I've heard pretty great things about the perch up here. So came up, seen some whitefish, seen some perch. Hope to bring a couple home if we can.
Barrie has been ranked number 2 on a new list of best fishing cities in Canada for 2026, commissioned by Fishing Booker.
You're not surprised?
No, we should have been number 1 because Lake Simcoe has more freshwater species than any other lake in Ontario.
Tourism Barrie says the economic impact on the city from tourism is $212 million a year.
We have a lot of hockey and sports enthusiasts coming to enjoy the area, enjoying ice fishing, skiing, snowboarding. That's really driving our business.
The buffet for them with the diatoms and the photoplankton and zooplankton, this is where they feed.
We caught up with Donnie Crowder from Hotbox Huts. He says it's been an incredible season and isn't surprised to see the area ranked so high on the list.
This year, 90% of our guests are local. Most of them come from the Greater Toronto area, and 10% we would say come from further. They're visiting from other countries or even the United States.
So great weather, lots of fish, and one of the best seasons in recent memory. The ice fishing industry hoping to ride out what has been a terrific year, and there's plenty of time left too, as the ice huts don't have to be off the ice until mid-March. Rob Cooper, CTV News, next to Lake Simcoe.
Speaking of a catch, we've got the best weatherman around. Casey Colby, welcome back. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Enjoying weather. I see Mr. Cooper's got a brand new coat. He's looking smashing, I might add. Hope it's warm. Hope it's warm. You got to have a warm coat, that's for sure, if you're going to enjoy all the fun outdoor things to do here in South Central Ontario. Let's talk about some of the fun things that we can do in the snow as a gentle snowfall just graces our presence here in the garden. Presler Injury Law, that's who's bringing first weather to you. Call 1-800-JUSTICE. -10 out here. A warm coat is what's required of the winds. Well, for the time being and for the better part of this evening, relatively light out of the northwest, 13 kilometers an hour. This is a look at the temperature outside your door as we speak. How about -10? Are we throwing in the wind chill? Why not? We're friends. -15 in Gravenhurst with the wind chill. -15 with the wind chill in Orillia. -13 in Newmarket. -15 in Mount Forest. And how about -14 for our friends in the Big Smoke of Toronto, where they're receiving a little bit of lake effect snow, it looks like. Are you receiving where you are just outside your door? We're receiving a little bit, thank you very much. Gently coming down and coming up. The cold snap, right? Are we done? Are we done? -10? Is that where we should be? Well, there's more where that came from, Sarah. A warm coat for Mr. Cooper, and I hope you have a warm coat too, Sarah. I haven't seen you lately out cleaning the snow off your car, but if you don't have a warm coat, we're going to work on that one real quick.
You haven't been here at the office for well over a week, so that makes sense, but it's nice to have you back. We'll chat a little later in the newscast. Okay. Now, this year marks the 30th anniversary of Black History Month in Canada, a time to acknowledge excellence, empowerment, and unity. Here in Simcoe County, there's now a flag flying high in the heart of Barrie as we reflect not only on the past, but also look toward the future. Here's Mike Lang.
Do hereby proclaim the month of February 2026 as Black History Month here in the city.
With the mayor's proclamation, Black History Month officially began in Barrie Tuesday morning. Members of various Black community groups helping raise the Pan-African flag in front of City Hall. Elder Janelle Scarrett calls it a symbol of belonging and unity.
A very deep meaning around the liberation of our people and the call for our people to unify together and to consider ourselves as brothers and sisters with all of humanity.
The vast history of slavery and racial discrimination serving as important lessons for the present and future.
The rocket showing how much we have evolved.
That messaging illustrated through the art on display at City Hall's first floor gallery.
Remember, our past, our ancestors, the challenges they face, and to be reminded of the need to have a much more inclusive society.
Some paintings by local Black artists, others showing the harshest struggles and greatest accomplishments.
It's important to look at some of these artwork and use it to remember, how far we've come.
Really, again, showcases Black history, but also showcases Black excellence and gives us an opportunity to feature some of the amazing artists that we have in Barrie.
Collingwood also raised its Black History Month flag on Tuesday at the town's library. The city of Orillia raised its flag on Monday.
This is our second time of raising the flag, the Pan-African flag in Orillia. Never done before. Last year was our first time.
Kelsey Braid moved to Orillia from Nigeria 8 years ago as an international student. She has since become a proud Canadian and Sunshine City resident and a leader in North Simcoe's Black community.
And I love my city. I call it my city because it's pretty, though it's snowing, but when it's summer, it's bubbling.
The three municipalities have a wide range of Black History Month events for the rest of February, from celebrations to workshops, all of which are welcome for everyone. Mike Lang, CTV News, Barrie.
From Deputy Leader of the provincial NDP to candidate for the federal Liberals, Dolly Begum made a surprising announcement today shortly after resigning from the Ontario legislature. As CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris reports, the move has set off a political chain reaction.
We recognize the member for Scarborough Southwest.
After more than 7 years on the opposition benches as a New Democrat,
triple the cost, all under this government's watch.
The Ontario NDP's deputy leader, Dolly Begum, has resigned to seek a federal seat with Mark Carney's Liberals. The spot vacated by Bill Blair, quitting as an MP for a new gig as High Commissioner to the UK.
It's a really significant event. It means there's going to be a by-election in Scarborough, and that could be a jump ball between all three parties.
Begum's last victory in 2025 wasn't a blowout, so the riding could be competitive in that by-election that the Premier has 6 months to call. In a brief statement, leader Marit Stiles thanked Begum for her service.
It's going to sting, and it's going to raise questions about the state of the party and the state of the operation.
Uneasy ground that's created an opening for would-be Ontario Liberal leadership contenders.
I think we've got to take another crack at it.
MP Nate Erskine-Smith says he'll seek the nomination with the provincial Liberals to run in Scarborough, a precursor to a second attempt at the party's leadership. On Parliament Hill, there's lots of noise about more political poaching, more floor crossings.
There are suggestions that there could be more by-elections created. It feels like Mark Carney is playing some political cards here, and he may not be done with his deck just yet.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
And now to Alberta, where a small community there is in mourning after 3 junior hockey players died in a road accident. CTV's Kathy Lee reports on the investigation and how people are trying to cope following the tragedy.
The population of Stavely is just over 500 people. It's one of those small southern Alberta towns where everybody knows everybody, and the deaths of these 3 young players has really hit this community hard. This is a memorial outside the Stavely Agricultural Society, the arena where the Southern Alberta Mustangs played. The jerseys of 17-year-old Caden Fine, who is from Birmingham, Alabama, and 18-year-old JJ Wright and Cameron Casorso, both from Kamloops, BC, have been laid out. Community members have been dropping by, lighting candles, dropping off flowers, and paying tribute to the 3 players.
It broke my heart to find out that these hockey players, so young, with bright futures, lost their lives so young.
These kids become part of our family. They're just, yes, they're part of the community, but they're also part of our families too.
The crash happened yesterday morning as the players were on their way to practice when they collided with a semi-truck pulling gravel. This was just outside of the town on a major highway in southern Alberta. RCMP said this morning the investigation is still ongoing, but do not believe this is criminal in nature.
That passenger vehicle would have had to come across 2 lanes of Highway 2 to get into the median, and then proceed across the other 2 lanes to get into that entrance to Stavely.
RCMP say the driver of the semi is okay. Some community members have complained about the dangers of the intersection in the past. The team did release a statement saying they are family, and right now their family is hurting. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Stavely, Alberta.
The start of the sexual assault trial for billionaire Canadian auto parts magnate Frank Stronach. It's been delayed. Stronach's trial was set to begin this morning, but his lawyer asked for more time to prepare in light of what she describes as voluminous disclosure and new information received in the last few weeks. The 93-year-old founder of car parts manufacturer Magna International faces 12 charges involving 7 complainants for alleged incidents dating back to the 1970s. Stronach is also set to stand trial in Newmarket later this year. Industry Minister Melanie Joly says the Canadian government is moving to recover millions in public funding from General Motors after the company's second major downsizing in Canada in under 6 months.
I've already said that we would get our money back from Stellantis and also from GM. We're in evaluation mode right now as to how much. Of course, a lot of our support was linked to production, and therefore if there was no production, obviously there was no funding. And so that's what we are focused on, and I'll have more to say on Stellantis in the coming days. And we're also in contact with GM. At this point, when it comes to GM also, back in December, we decided to reduce their emission quotas. Basically, the amount of cars they can bring to Canada without tariffs has been reduced because obviously they've decided to shut down Ingersoll, and now they're going after the 3rd shift in Oshawa.
Hundreds of workers at the General Motors Oshawa plant are out of work after the company cut its 3rd shift there. That latest decision from the automaker follows similar job losses in the province at the assembly plant in Ingersoll and the Stellantis assembly plant in Brampton. Canada paused today to remember a young soldier lost far from home. The body of 24-year-old Sebastian Halmagine from Hamilton was repatriated at CFB Trenton. Halmagine died while deployed in Latvia with the Canadian Armed Forces, serving as part of NATO's Operation Reassurance mission in Eastern Europe. Transport Canada says it is working with the Federal Aviation Administration in the U.S. over delays in approving Gulfstream jets. That is the type of aircraft that Donald Trump wants Ottawa to certify. Otherwise, the U.S. president is threatening to decertify Bombardier Global Business jets and impose 50% import tariffs on all aircrafts made in Canada. The Canadian regulator says it is working with the FAA, Bombardier, and Gulfstream Aerospace to resolve outstanding issues. A frightening statistic to share with you tonight. Every 7 minutes, a Canadian dies from heart disease or stroke. A new study suggests it's because we're not doing enough to stay healthy. CTV's Heather Wright on what that means and what you can do to turn things around.
What started as mild heartburn suddenly became much more serious for Elena Trainoff.
I woke up one night in the middle of the night with crushing chest pain, and even then I thought, I'm too young for this to be a heart situation.
At just 40 years old, Trainoff had 100% blockage of one artery and partial blockage of two others. She was taken in for emergency surgery. Nearly 11 years later, Trainoff credits changes to her lifestyle for keeping her healthy.
I quit smoking, I lost weight, I changed my eating habits, I radically reduced the amount of stress that I was under.
According to a new report from the Heart and Stroke Foundation, 9 in every 10 Canadians have at least one risk factor for heart disease and stroke. Lifestyle risks include smoking, poor diet, stress, lack of sleep, and lack of physical activity. And while some risk factors like genetics, gender, age, and air pollution can't be changed, experts say 80% of premature heart disease can be prevented with lifestyle changes.
We're surrounded by unhealthy food options. We aren't as physically active as we once were. Most people work in sedentary jobs. So for those reasons, it can be more difficult, and we have to make conscious effort to live healthfully.
And while some risk factors like smoking are declining, others are on the rise. For example, 1 in 4 grade 12 students say they vape, while the number of Canadian adults living with high blood pressure has increased every year since 2000.
While the death rate from heart disease and stroke has decreased by about 80% over the last 70 years, these diseases still cause 1 in every 5 deaths in Canada. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Still to come here on CTV Barrie, celebrating a 25-year tradition when this film based on an award-winning memoir will grace the big screen here in Barrie. Plus, you can find some of the best snowmobiling around thanks to great lengths of groomed trails. And now there's even more, and with it, a special meaning. Please do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Simcoe County is famous for having thousands of kilometers of snowmobiling trails, and that network just keeps growing.
This is the Tay Shore Trail, so it's a multi-use trail. But what's really exciting about this has been named trail number 1 in the province in honor of the late John Power, who in 1967, right here in Victoria Harbour, founded the OFSC.
You heard it there first. There's a meaningful vision behind the new multi-use trail that runs through Victoria Harbour. It's in honor of the founder of the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs, John Power. And the location also meaningful to the club because it is where that first provincial meeting was held back in 1967.
The mayor and I are going to go and do a little grooming and trail patrol.
Gives us a far longer stretch of trail for different uses in the winter. It's patrolled by the OPP, so safety is paramount. And it's a 1-year trial period, and so far everything seems to be going very well.
Now that we're grooming it, the community's out using it for walking and cross-country skiing and just out enjoying recreation, not having to walk on roads.
Yep, the Groom Trail welcomes sledders, walkers, runners, anyone who wants to enjoy the outdoors and continue to celebrate how one man's vision now drives winter tourism in our province. For more than a quarter century, the Barrie Film Festival has brought us many thought-provoking cinematic masterpieces, and now it presents H is for Hawk.
Dad, I just saw a pair of hawks.
A pair?
Yeah. They were sort of gliding around each other. Beautiful. My dad, he was a quiet man.
Based on an award-winning memoir and starring Claire Foy and Brendan Gleeson, this British film tells the true story of an unconventional bond with a hawk and a woman who's processing the sudden death of her father. Yet another cinematography spectacle for Barrie Film Festival fans.
This is actually our 30th year. In November, it'll be our 31st year. It's crazy how the time has passed, and we have really great, loyal followers.
Good girl. I'm going to call you Mabel.
You can catch H's for Hawk at the Galaxy Theatre South in Barrie on Wednesday, February 4th. That's tomorrow night. Showtimes are at 4 and 7 p.m. Now, for those that don't know, we are continually posting on our website well ahead of our 6 and 11 p.m. newscasts. So to keep up to date, go to ctvnews.ca/Barrie. Scan the QR code on your screen. A bear cub that was badly burned in a slash pile fire is making a remarkable recovery after weeks of intensive care at a rescue center in BC. The center says the cub has been named Valkyrie and is now bandage free and standing on both front legs. The center also took in another cub. That one was malnourished. Staff say it's still too early to know if the young bear will recover. Still to come, thrifting with compassion, how the impact of this consignment shop goes far beyond the rack. First, so let's head outside. Case.
Hey, the cold spot in Canada today looks like Eureka, Nunavut, minus 44.7. The hot spot? Well, how about Bella Bella Airport in BC? We're looking at 12.1 degrees. Guess which one our weather watcher Artis likes best? Oh, Bella says promise of an early spring. Go for it. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Picture this. Brought to you by Bounce 1041 and Pure Country 106.
It doesn't get much cozier than that. Hey, we asked you what keeps you feeling comfortable and whether you are wrapped in a blanket in front of a board game or, hey, enrobed in snow. It's your choice. Keep the pictures coming. Picture this at ctv.ca. Casey Colby, it's been far too long since you've been with us here in the CTV Barrie office. I have to say, there was no one during the lunch hour eating tins of tuna. I never thought I'd miss that smell.
Well, we'll see what we can do for the rest of the week. I mean, tuna or there's a stinky fish too. You ever tried the stinky fish challenge?
Your sardines, they're also quite stinky.
No, you look it up on the interweb. There's the stinky fish challenge.
Okay.
Maybe one time we'll try that on air. You never know. You never know. But one thing you do know, it's snowing. It's so central Ontario, it's winter in Canada, and it's snowing, right? Yeah, more than 300 centimeters so far, and counting, I might add, as we begin the month of February. Let's talk about how much more snow is on the way and if there is a reprieve. Well, there should be a reprieve. As mentioned last little while, the Great Lakes and Georgian Bay slowly freezing up. This is a look as we speak at the temperature outside your door. Looks like minus 14 in Collingwood with the wind chill, minus 16 here in Barrie, minus 13 in Newmarket, and call it minus 12. No sound with the wind chill. The almanac, thank you very much, Adam, bringing it up, minus 5, minus 8. That's the high, that's the low. 13.5 degrees in 2016. Wow. And minus 31.7 in 2023. I can hardly say it. Yes, sunrise 7:33, sunset 5:32. Oh, those days, 9 hours 52 minutes, 59 minutes. Give you 59. This is the cloudy forecast radar with a little bit of snow. And what is happening there? The advent of a little sunshine? Did you like that today? A little snippet of sunshine? Yeah, it wasn't much, but there's more on the way. This is southern tip of Georgian Bay Lake, Simcoe. Overnight temperatures -24 with the wind chill this evening, Sarah. Some flurries anywhere from 2 to 10 centimeters. And then for tomorrow, well, slight chance of some flurry activity. However, sun and cloud mix. -10, -9, there's your highs. This is Orangeville, Bradford, Georgina, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, -22 with the wind chill. And then anywhere from 2 to 10 centimeters of flurry activity this evening. For tomorrow, -6, -7, sun and cloud mix. What a beautiful day. Wow, beautiful day. Parry Sound, Huntsville, Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, Halliburton, -22 with the wind chill, mainly cloudy skies. And yes, we're looking at some snow this evening, 2 to 5 centimeters of snow for this evening, northern part of our viewing area. And then for tomorrow, -7, -8, -9, a sun and cloud mix. Sounds good to me. That's tonight and tomorrow. Thank you very much. How about the Diamond and Diamond Lawyers 5-day extended forecast? Honk on this. Honk on little sunshine. There you go. Sun and cloud mix. Wednesday, yeah, -10. And then Thursday comes on, cloudy skies. Yeah, but no snow until Friday. Friday at this point, could be a dumping. -3, -22 overnight. That's some kind of cold, isn't it? And then Saturday rise, bright and sunny, but very cool. And then Sunday, well, sun and cloud mix, 30% chance of a few flurries, -10. This is the 5-day extended forecast for York region. And Thursday has cloudy skies, -7. Some snow rolls into the area on Friday, -2 and -21. Saturday, look at Saturday. It's crisp and cool. Okay, it's cold. -14, -17. Lovely. Get out and get your vitamin D. And then Sunday arrives, slight chance of a few flurries coming down with fair skies. Muskoka, Parry Sound, Halliburton. Thursday looks like cloudy skies, -6, -9. At this point, Friday, everybody gets snow. -2 for the high, so we're quite mild during the day, or compared to where we normally have been. And then -22 overnight, so it's a bit frigid. Saturday arrives crisp and clear, -15, -22. Sunny, sunny, sunny. And then Sunday arrives, and sun and cloud mix, and -11. So, Sarah, it looks like the snow's coming down right now, but it looks like we're getting a brief reprieve from the snow. But you got to keep that shovel handy.
I thought that hit him at first. He's still standing, folks. Everything's okay. Oof. Let's talk about Canada's Jeremy Hansen, because we now know he will not be heading to space this month after NASA delayed the launch of its Artemis II moon rocket. Yesterday's critical fuel test stalled with about 5 minutes and 15 seconds left in the countdown. NASA made the call to delay the launch this morning after multiple fuel leaks during the test. It's now looking at a new launch date, possibly as early as March 6th, but it also may not happen until April. Hansen and the other 3 members of the crew will be moved out of quarantine. NASA plans to use the extra time to review the data and try another fuel test. A thrift shop in Toronto is supporting some of the city's most vulnerable residents. Donated items are being handed out to those experiencing homelessness. CTV's Jessica Smith brings us the details.
Giving pre-loved items new life and helping those experiencing homelessness. That's the idea behind Eagle Feather Vintage in Toronto's East End.
It started just me 6 years ago selling my own vintage stuff because everyone wanted it, and I thought I'll just use all the money to buy stuff for people on the streets to keep them warm in the winter.
The personal project, started by Spencer Ogilvie, blossomed into a community initiative inspiring her vintage store.
And all the money gets to go right back into buying sleeping bags and hand warmers, jogging pants, sweaters, all that stuff.
Each item donated or funds from something purchased going directly to the Church of Holy Trinity to help as they serve the community.
The work that Spencer is doing is actually life-saving, and we're absolutely reliant on people's donations.
Located inside Boneyard Thrift, Ogilvie shares a space with Paperbag Vintage and College Fund Thrift. The collective efforts allow her to operate at no cost.
Everyone is amazing, and College Fund Thrift also give Eagle Feather Vintage 10% of all of their profits.
Showing no effort is too small to make a difference. Community members can come down to Eagle Feather Vintage every Saturday between 12 and 4 to make a donation or to make a purchase, with 100% of those proceeds going back to help those most in need in our community. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
Still to come, solving a mystery in southern Manitoba. Residents rallying together after strange lights were spotted in the sky. You're watching CTV News Barrie. Recapping our top stories on this Tuesday, the city of Barrie asked 1,000 residents how it has handled the encampment crisis. The response was over 70% support the investments in homelessness, removing encampments, but many also agreed that the county of Simcoe could be doing more to address addiction and mental health. Barrie has been ranked number 2 in Canada by Fishing Booker for its fishing opportunities, thanks to its balance of accessibility and variety. The city offers easy access to productive waters known for species like yellow perch, smallmouth bass, and northern pike, making it a favorite among anglers. And Black History Month officially began in Barrie this morning. Members of various Black community groups raised the Pan-African flag in front of City Hall. Across the region, there are a wide range of Black History Month events, from workshops to celebrations. Let's get back to those mysterious lights that have been spotted hovering over southern Manitoba. Now a group of area residents have banded together to try and figure out exactly what's going on. CTV's Danton Unger explains.
You can always see them in the distance over here.
Monique Kirchie has noticed something strange going on in the skies of southern Manitoba.
Like they fly all over the town.
Over the past few weeks, Kirchie says she and her neighbors have seen large drones like this hovering around Kleefeld just west of Steinbach.
It's only at nighttime that they're hearing and seeing these things, and so it raised a lot of concern, the fact that there's so many and it's so many frequent sightings. Nobody knows anything.
She's reported it to the municipality and the RCMP, but so far, no answers as to what's behind the sudden uptick in drone activity. Steinbach RCMP did confirm they've received one report of drones flying over the city as well as in the Lebrokery area, hovering near houses and waking people up. RCMP say at this point, no other reports have been received. Corporal Ryan Cadot says it can be difficult to track down the operators of drones.
It's tricky because a lot of these drones have considerable range, and unless you can find the pilot, there's not a whole lot we can really do about it, unfortunately.
Still, if a drone is flying on private property or getting a little too close for comfort, Cadot does encourage residents to report it to RCMP. As for Kirchie, this is a mystery she wants to solve. That's why she's created the Community Drone Watch.
Drone chasers, unite. I was kidding, but at the same time kind of serious, because people had been posting about noticing all these drones flying around for the last few weeks.
While not taking herself too seriously, she does hope this will lead to some answers, like who's flying these drones around her area and why.
So far, nobody knows what these things are. They're just these big, large drones that have been flying around.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Steinbach.
In business news, Toys R Us Canada is facing another lawsuit from a landlord that says it terminated the retailer's lease for failing to pay the rent. A court filing from RioCan Holdings says the toy store chain didn't pay rent last month for a space at one of its Toronto shopping centres. The landlord says it warned the company it would end its leases if it didn't make a payment, then followed through with that threat on January 20th. Toys R Us has been closing dozens of Canadian stores and has been sued at least 7 times by landlords in the last year. Moving right into the markets, the TSX was up 204 points, the Dow was down 166, and the Nasdaq was down 336. And commodities, oil was up, closing at $63.21 a barrel. Gold was up, finishing at $4,935 an ounce. Our dollar was up, ending the day at 73.25 cents US. In sports this eve, the Toronto Maple Leafs took on the Flames in Calgary last night, looking for their second win in a row.
In comes William Nylander with a big shot, scores! 35 seconds in, the Leafs have the lead.
Okay, William Nylander had a goal and 2 assists as the Leafs beat the Flames 4-2. Matthias Michelli, Troy Stetcher, and Bobby McMahon also scored for the Leafs. Former Leaf Nazem Kadri had a goal and an assist for the Flames. The Leafs will play their last game before the Olympic break tonight in Edmonton. And isn't this neat? Holland Landing's Sam Bennett has been named to Team Canada for the upcoming Olympics. Unfortunate circumstance, though. Bennett will replace Tampa Bay's Anthony Cirelli, who was injured in a game on Sunday. Bennett won back-to-back Stanley Cups with the Florida Panthers and won the Conn Smythe Trophy as the playoff MVP in 2025. He also helped Canada win the 2025 Four Nations face-off. Now, sticking with athleticism, but different species. The top prize at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show will be handed out tonight. The pooches are getting primped as they get ready to compete for Best in Show at Madison Square Garden in Manhattan today. All of the 200 breeds represented at the show have a certain look their owner and handlers need to maintain for the judges. This year marks 150 years of the famous canine competition. I don't think my straggly-looking animal would keep up, but great personality. Still to come, uncracked for 6 decades. There's a story behind this old egg and why one man has kept it in his fridge for 60 years. Details coming up next.
Hi, we're Martin and Steph
from Bounce 104.1.
And this week on the show, we're giving away great tickets to some great tribute bands.
Winner's choice, Prince, Wanted, or Queen.
So tune in Monday to Friday from 5.
Here's a look at your primetime lineup. Ships in the Night, a Martha's Vineyard mystery, starts at 8, followed by Criminal Minds at 10 and CTV News Barrie at 11 p.m. We are going to end our evening in British Columbia, where a man there never has to worry about running out of eggs because he's kept the same one in his fridge for 6 decades. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains why.
When David Jevney was almost 6 years old, he woke up before his parents on Easter morning, took a raw egg out of the fridge, and drew a face on it.
Why not? Doesn't everybody draw a face on an egg at Easter and put it back in the fridge?
David doesn't remember why he did it or why his parents kept it, but he can't forget it being a constant while growing up.
And when you open the fridge door, you would always see it looking back at you.
More than a decade later, after David moved out, the egg stayed put.
A little bit of family history.
Does it have a name?
Egbert. With 2 G's. There's no better name for an egg. It's the only name for an egg.
Egbert remained in his parents' fridge, uncracked and uncooked for 50 years, until they passed away and David packed it up to move in with him and his wife, Lise.
The reaction was probably, oh my goodness, okay, well, do we have to take it to the next house we're moving to?
But after moving with the egg 5 times since, Lise has grown to appreciate it every day.
Like, oh, right, there's Egbert. So good morning. Yeah, I haven't said good morning, but I'm probably saying it in my mind to him. Yeah.
And soon they'll be saying happy birthday to him. Because although Egbert's insides have started rattling,
he's still in there.
His outside remains unscathed.
Not one crack.
Egbert's kind of inspirational.
He is. He's strong.
And he's set to celebrate being 60 years old. How long is Egbert going to stay in the fridge?
Forever, as long as I'm here. The older you get, the neater it is.
And the older we get, the more precious we realize life is. So when we can find something that connects us with our past and improves our present, why not preserve it into the future?
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Esquimalt.
Just love those kinds of stories. Case, speaking of preserving tradition, I looked up the Stinky Fish Challenge, a Swedish delicacy. It's fermented Baltic Sea herring, notorious for its overpowering smell. Tell me you are not eating this.
Maybe one day we'll do it live on TV. Why not?
For TV and perhaps you, okay.
Okay, let's talk.
But mostly TV.
Yeah, mostly TV. Yeah, let's give it a try. Hey, get up and go forecast first thing tomorrow morning. Is there snow in the forecast? Well, I want you to have a little look-see. And it's partly cloudy skies. Snow-making machine, Mother Nature's snow-making machine should turn off later on this evening. Partly cloudy skies across the board. Looks like temperatures of 18, minus 18, minus 13, and minus 19 to start the day off. 7 o'clock in the morning. Have yourself a great evening and a better tomorrow, Sarah.
Mother Nature's snow-making machine. Love that one. Thanks so much to everyone at home for joining us. I'm Sarah Freemark. Jack will wrap things up tonight at 11. Take care out there.